So I got a call today that I had a package delivered to me. I had to pick it up by 4 o'clock. They said the establishment closed at 4. Okay? And so this was around 1 p.m. I got the call. Looking for my wallet. Couldn't find my wallet. That prolonged my time for about 30 more minutes. And so by at least 2:30, I was on the road headed to the establishment to pick up my package. And by the time I got there, this said establishment was closed. And it would have been around 2:45. And I messaged the person. I'm like, hey, I'm here. Y'all said y'all closed at 4. Apparently, they didn't need to stay until 4 today. And so they left early. And so, obviously, I got so frustrated. I'm not even gonna lie. I was livid. And so I proceeded to go back home. While I'm feeling all of these feels, I concluded that I did not like what I was feeling because I was really upset. And I took it to God, because sometimes when I'm in that mood or even feeling anxious and my heart's racing and my mind is going, sometimes you don't even want to slow down to even say, let me take this to God, or let me pray. And so I said, well, with me feeling this way, let me just pray to God about it. And in that moment, he reminded me how situations and people come in our lives to show us and to show us what's in our hearts. And I smiled, because this has been my prayer for God to renew my heart and make my heart to be one that is soft, make my heart to be one that is receptive, make my heart to be one that is teachable, and an environment where he can live and want to live. I'm like, God, really? You had to inconvenience me in a way, so just to show me what's in my heart, And sometimes it takes all of that. Sometimes it really does take effort, inconvenience, for God to just show us and show us who we are. And you'll be surprised to know what's there. I start to calm down a few minutes in, and as I'm driving, I drove past this vehicle, and I could see people sitting in the vehicle, and they're parked on the side of the road. And I said, let me turn around and check on these people, because it's hot. And I turned around. There was a lady in the front seat, about 2 gentlemen in the back seat. I asked them, I said, are you guys okay? Do you need anything? And they said, oh, someone's going to get gas. And I was like, okay, awesome. I just wanted to know if y'all were okay. And that 5 seconds, 10 seconds tops, you could see the lady in the front seat, like her facial expression, she had so much gratitude that someone stopped to just check on them and see about their well-being. And it almost like it surprised her that they were important enough for someone to stop and check on them. And even though I didn't assist them in no way, I knew in that moment they may have experienced God's love. And even if they leave saying, oh, this nice lady checked on us, I know in their conscience, when they think about it, when they lay down at night, they'll know that God checked on them. When I left, I just started to cry, because here I am thinking I'm being inconvenienced, and God had a whole plan. And thankfully I slowed down just to hear God's voice, because I probably would have passed those people, and though I couldn't offer or didn't have to offer them any assistance or had to come up with any resources to give them, they still experienced the goodness of God. Not boasting about myself or saying that I did anything, but I know at the end of the day, they're gonna thank God. They're gonna remember that God saw them today. And I just cried, and I'm like, God, forgive me. God, forgive me. We cry out and we ask God to use us in the way that He sees fit. But the thing is, we often don't know what that looks like. We have to be open and we have to slow down so that we can be guided by God, So as I'm headed down, I'm crying, and I'm just right where I'm supposed to be, really and truly. I may have felt like I was inconvenienced, but I was right exactly where I needed to be, right there in the presence of God. And as I'm headed down, I got a phone call. Hey, one of our co-workers are going to be at the establishment. If you want to go there, you can meet them there. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm like almost home. But you know what? Nevertheless, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go get my package. And as I'm headed back up, I see the lady and the gentleman that were in the vehicle going down safe and sound. And I just smiled and I'm like, God, you really do have a sense of humor. I say all that to say this. Every encounter that you've had, every person that you've met, in some way shows you. Not just the frustrating things, but a lot of it is the frustrating things and the annoying things and even the scary things. It shows you. And it gives you the responsibility of what you will do with what is revealed about you. And like I said, I've been prayerful about God just showing me my heart, because He wants my heart. So I'm like, God, if you want this, then you got to clean this up and you got to make this right for you. But I asked the question, if the heart is something that's deceitful, why is it that it's what God measures a person by, their heart? If the heart is deceitful, why is it that God looks at the heart to measure a man, measure a woman? And that's something I really needed to understand. If my heart is naturally deceitful, why is it that God looks at it? Why are you looking at, something that I can't even trust? And so Jeremiah 17 and 19 says, the heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? And what this is describing is the natural human heart. Actually, it's a heart that's separated from God. A heart that is separated from God is corrupt. A heart that is separated from God is even hardened. A heart that's separated from God is filled with pride. A heart that is separated from God is deceitful. It justifies wrong. And most of us believers know what that heart looks like. and honestly, some of us still understand what that heart looks like. But the thing is, 1 Samuel 16 and 7 says, the Lord does not look at the things that people look at. People look at outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Lord, why are you looking at my heart if it's so deceitful? And the answer that I got is the fact that God trusts and is confident in His own transformation plan. So when Jeremiah was talking about the deceitful heart, he's talking about that heart that has not been transformed as yet. He's talking about the heart that does not have God. He's talking about the heart that has not been made flesh. He's talking about that hardened heart. And so God is looking at the heart because He knows and understands that even though that be deceitful, even though that be prideful, I can transform that. And we know how powerful our hearts are. We know how powerful our motives and our intentions can be, especially when they're not aligned with God. And yet God is looking at that thing and he's like, I can deal with that. I can transform that. I don't care what that's experiencing. I don't care how much heartbreak that has had. I don't care how much evil things that has conjured up. I can transform that. And that's why I'm intently looking at that heart that Jeremiah has mentioned is deceitful above all things. So while the Old Testament highlights the heart's deceitfulness, the New Covenant offers the solution. Jesus offers the solution. He says in Ezekiel 36:26, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. So through faith in Jesus, God cleanses and renews the heart, replacing the deceit with truth. So now when God looks at a believer's heart, he sees Christ's righteousness, new desires, and works of his spirit. God is looking at the most deceitful thing. He's looking at the hardest thing, because we all know what our hearts are like. We if we could be honest, we know what goes on in our hearts. And God is saying, I ain't scared of your heart. God is saying, that doesn't faze me. I'm looking right at it. All of that stuff, all of that bitterness, all of the hurt, all the pain, I'm looking right at it. We may think we're hiding just because people can't see, but God is looking right at the very thing that is hidden, and he's like, I want to deal with that. And he trusts in his own power. You could look at yourself and be like, God, how could you change me? How could you deal with what goes on in here? Like, if you begin to chisel this and you begin to expose what goes on in this heart, you may even turn your back on me. And he's like, no, I'm looking right at you. I'm looking at your heart. And he's saying, my power is able to transform this. I can deal with this. I can heal this heart. I can make this heart feel again. I can make this heart love again. I can make this heart receive love again. And he's looking at your heart because that's where he wants to live. Oh God, if you think that your heart is too dirty, too messed up, too broken, too bruised to be salvaged, to be saved, to be put back together, I believe if we could put it in layman terms, God would be saying, try me, because I'm looking at it. I want it. I desire it. We only look at what we desire. We only pay attention to what we want. We look at it long. We look at it with intention. We look at it with vision. We see ourselves. If we're looking on Fashion Nova for clothes, we put it in our cart. We look at that. We look at that. We look at that. Eventually, we're going to get that. And you see a beautiful home, it's probably down the street. It's for sale. You drive past that. You look at that for weeks, months. Your intention is that's where you want to live. You have intentions for that thing that you intently look at. And he's intently looking at your heart. He has a plan for your heart. He has a plan to dwell in your heart, no matter how dilapidated it is, no matter how broken it is. You ever saw a building that looked like it's beyond repair, like literally dilapidated, and then months later you'll see people working on it, changing it up, hurricane proof windows, solar panels on the roof, and you're like, I thought that place was beyond repair. That's how God looks at some of our hearts. The hearts that other people don't want to deal with. The hearts that people look at and say, boy, that person beyond repair. The people who people don't want to deal with, God looking at that person's heart intently, and he's like, I have the power to transform that. So I sit here with so much gratitude because I gave God that permission, if you will, to do what he needs to make my heart a beautiful residence for him to dwell and always live. And if it takes me riding from 8 Mile Rock to Freeport to 8 Mile Rock to Freeport and back to 8 Mile Rock again, just so he could do that, then Lord, have your way. So what are you willing to do for God to repair, cleanse, transform, renew, bless your heart so that it could be a dwelling place for him? You know, people always allude the heart to have many rooms, and so many of those rooms we don't invite God in. But I just could imagine him, when you finally invite him in, how he does the spring cleaning through these seem inconvenient circumstances. Would you just allow him to cleanse it? Because when he occupies the room that he cleans, how blessed are you? How much better are you? Like, I'm literally sitting here in awe, and I don't even know how to end this video. My only encouragement is give your heart to the Lord. You've given your heart over to all kind of things, all kind of people. Nothing has the ability to sustain your heart. He wants to do what only he can do, so allow him to do it. He's got you. He's looking intently. He trusts in his own transformation plan. Nothing is wasted. Everything comes with the intent to transform our hearts. And may you allow your heart to be transformed. In Jesus' name, have a good day.